unboxing the V14 using our handy dandy microphone tire.
Yeah.
So,
do you want to wait a little bit to get some more people in the room?
We'll just wait a little bit. Just if you guys have any questions, just let us know. And then Elton, as our cameraman, just let us know if anybody comments. If anybody's got any questions about the nice V14, we're going to unbox the GB version, just so you guys are aware. So there is a 50S version as well. So different battery versions, just for like a little bit more power, essentially, so you can kind of use a little bit more of that torque and speed. Because I think it's like probably like a 1 mile per hour difference, essentially, just a little bit more power because of those amps that it's going to be able to pull.
Yeah,
50S. So.
For sure. Definitely, you're not getting like a higher top speed all the time in this case. More so when you have gooder batteries, then it's more so the better bits of torque that you can get out of the wheel at lower speeds.
And less voltage sag too, so you don't have to worry about, like, just like crashing because you're going like the top speed that you're going and pushing it too far, going too far with the beeps, as a lot of us have before.
Yeah. Better batteries just means better amounts of battery sag that are in your favor. I guess before everybody else shows up and starts asking questions, or we'll just kind of throw out specs and read them out. Billy, give us some specs to this wheel. You can take this piece of paper and just read them off, because we keep it simple.
That works. So we're looking at a 4,000 watt motor that peaks at 9,000 watts. So plenty of power. Just for reference, the Master was about 3,500 watts for the motor, and it peaked, I think, at about 8,000 watts. Top speed you're looking at is 43 miles per hour, so definitely not the highest top speed available, but a decent top speed. And then the tire size, you're looking at a 16-inch tire size, so a little bit smaller, pretty much the same size as T4. So you're not going to have that large diameter of a 20-inch tire like the Master, but it should be pretty maneuverable, which is going to be really nice, since it seems like InMotion kind of set this as like an off-road focused wheel. So that should be pretty interesting. 2,400 watt-hour capacity, so pretty similar to the Master. The reason I'm just kind of pointing in the direction of the Master is because this is a 134 volt wheel, just like the Master is. So with that similar battery capacity, similar weight, kind of just feels like InMotion's not like version of the Master per se, but just like a similar wheel overall.
Yeah, it's definitely something that tries to keep in competition with not just the Master in my eyes, but also, say, the Patent or other wheels that are in this 16-inch range. It's definitely something that, if you're looking for an InMotion wheel that is able to keep up with, say, WeGo, Kingsong, Leaper Kim, this is probably your option right now, unless you're looking to get a really hefty wheel like the V13. V14 is going to be that more nimble option for just overall riding.
Definitely, especially with the 88 pounds, so it's definitely a lot lighter, like you were saying, than the V13, because I believe the V13 is somewhere around like 116, somewhere around there, so definitely shedding a few pounds there. Easily disconnectable batteries, which is pretty cool. The ports that connect the batteries together, like the little plugs, are actually waterproof, so you don't have to worry about like water ingress getting to those and causing like any shorts or anything, which is really nice. The overall wheel has an IP rating of IPX6, and then the rating for the battery is going to be IPX7. So a little bit better for the batteries, which is nice, because I mean that's the component I'm going to be worrying about the most, other than bearings usually. So the max slope for this one, InMotion put it as 50 degrees, so that should be pretty cool. I'm excited to see like how it performs overall for just large slopes and just like going off jumps. I've seen a few videos from Wrong Way and a few others who have already posted some pretty cool shorts, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, so with having the smaller diameter tire with 16-inch wheels, it's definitely comfortable when you're going up things, not having to worry about any forms of losing torque, considering that you have that smaller diameter. Say if you're on a older form of the Master, Bigode-wise, that is something that's been an issue as far as just getting quickly up a hill if you're heavy. If you're light, then congrats, you don't have to care about anything.
And of course, the nice thing is with InMotion, we don't have to worry about pedal dip like we would with the Master or any other units as well. So
not anymore, because Master nowadays, you have newer firmware.
Oh,
but yeah, say with InMotion has always been very consistent with having a faster pedal return.
And then it looks like some of the other stuff would be the new progressive spring that they've added in. This is actually the first unicycle that I've seen so far that has a progressive spring. It's going to range from anywhere from 600 to 940 pounds of force. So it should be pretty nice. You don't have to worry about like either choosing like hard or soft suspension. You should have a good mixture of both, because what it's going to do is it's going to progress from that soft suspension into the hard suspension.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of electric unicycles having suspension it's still new territory, considering that we've only just started having suspension since maybe 2020. Starting with the V11, that InMotion with the regular air canister. It was very, very nice on regular flat roads, but then as soon as you drop down, say 2 steps or maybe even more, then you end up bottoming out and you end up having to worry about rim damage. Nowadays, there's way more cushion and way more protection for our wheels. Not just having a stronger rim, but having better smooth suspension makes a world of difference.
Oh, definitely. Because the V11, as you were saying, it kind of tried to replicate the feeling of suspension, but it wasn't really true suspension. And the nice thing is, since this has like that coil in the back, like with the progressive spring, like I was saying, it should definitely feel pretty similar to the S22, but of course with the progressive spring, you won't have to worry about like dialing it in for either street or for off-road. You should be able to have a nice setting for both. And the nice thing is too, it's made by Fastace, which is the same company that made the Sherman S, Lynx, all those suspension systems. So it should be pretty reliable from what I've seen so far.
Yeah. Also, Elton, if you see any comments that anybody puts out, if anybody says hi, just let us know.
Well, when asked why are you holding a tire?
We like, I don't know.
It's the best way to kind of hold it.
It's a good
pass it
grip.
around.
Yeah, no, like for passing, this is optimal. This is probably the best passing microphone that has ever existed.
Absolutely.
Because otherwise, with regular microphones, say if you're passing it to somebody, you have to figure out who's going to be grabbing on top, who's grabbing on bottom. It turns into a whole power struggle. This is
Super easy to pass by.
This is a community mic.
Do we want to just get on with the unboxing? I think we've talked for a decent amount of time.
Yeah, so unboxing this thing. Let's throw this paper to the side. We can grab it later. InMotion packaging. As of recent, InMotion has been beautiful. They've been making the prettiest boxes out of any company nowadays. Looking at this one, it's got instructions. You can probably even zoom in on this one. So looking at this, it says, open the package, take out the 4 connecting buckles and lift the outer box upwards, revealing the inner packaging and unicycle. So we're going to do just that.
Buckles on the bottom, so you just kind of push in like this, kind of pinch
You
in,
get squeezy,
push it up,
pull it up.
pop it right out.
Easy day. Same with the other side.
Just super nice, because instead of having to...
Yeah, other unicycles in past days, we've had to open it up top and then kind of pour the unicycle out.
Yeah. Just weighs so much, just always kind of a hassle.
Okay, so opening up the box, we've got our manuals.
We got the charger right here. So nice 134 volt 3 amp charger.
We've got
the
our
cable right here.
charging cable, depending on where you're from. This looks like a little parts kit with Allen bits. I've seen some... Oh, you got some replacement bolts.
So if I'm not mistaken, I think those bolts are actually for these bumpers.
Oh, just kidding.
Back.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so you can either choose to put the kickstand inside on, or you can just put these bumpers, whichever you choose.
Yeah, make your choices. I'd probably use the bumpers alone because kickstands get in the way when you're trying to go downhill.
This kickstand's kind of hefty from what I've seen so far. Here we go.
Okay, so we're going to lift off this top piece of foam. There was another piece of foam that was covering the top portion of this wheel, but that's fine. It's gone now. Foam, quick pull away.
So here's that back kickstand. So definitely pretty rugged, especially compared to what we've gotten so far on the Master.
This is definitely a more high density plastic. I
Curious to see how it like sits, honestly, for like how low, if it's gonna like affect anything with stairs or anything else like that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely rigid. I wonder how it would be in a crash.
Yeah.
But I don't know. If anybody crashes on their V14, let us know, and we will review from that point.
Okay, so let's pop this buddy out.
So yeah, we got more boxes. We're gonna kick these boxes out of the way. Our beautiful assistant, Steven, will take that stuff out of our line of sight. Okay, power button right on top of the center.
Do we have your phone on you so we can just unlock this
My
unit
phone?
real quick?
Okay, we're doing that. Let's see if I have the InMotion app still open.
I mean, UC World should work too, either one, I
Yeah.
think. So it looks like it's on 78%. You got a decent display. It's supposed to be pretty bright at night, from what I've heard so far. So should be interesting. I guess we'll have to check that out and see how it is. But decent handle for the front. Nice little bumper on the back. You can kind of see that linkage on the back there and that nice fast ace spring that we were talking about with the progressive spring. So you have adjustable knobs. Looks like you got one on the bottom for the rebound and the blue one on the top for the compression.
Turns out I have to update my app, so you can do that. I'll let you connect to it. Yeah, you got your phone?
I'll connect it.
Are you gonna connect?
Steven's got it, yeah.
There we go. Lovely assistant, Steven.
Let's open up that port and check it out, actually.
All right, charge ports. You have two of them.
So it definitely actually looks different than the Master. So it looks like it is a proprietary charger, possibly.
Yeah, still a 4-pin. Yeah, who knows? Well, maybe somebody will make an adapter, and then you'd be able to use more than one charger alone.
Nice, really tall trolley handle. Seems relatively sturdy. I mean,
Yeah, I
as rigid
wouldn't-
as this going to be for a trolley handle for
Yeah.
that size, you know, and that material. So.
Companies have not really mastered the art of designing a trolley handle, but that's just fine. So with this situation, just try not to crash it. Try not to be too hard on the handle. When you're steering a wheel, I mean, because it's in the center point here, you don't have to worry too much about twisting it off. If you have a higher PSI, that's going to make your turning of the wheel, especially indoors, much better. But also the angle that you're twisting the wheel at will make a world of difference.
Oh, definitely.
There's so many different factors that go into just steering or trolleying a wheel. Okay,
Perfect.
now we got
Got it.
power. Thank you, Steven. You're beautiful. Okay, InMotion V14. We've got our headlight. This is our daytime running light. Just like the V11 and other iterations of InMotion wheels, there's like a little daytime running light. When we turn it on, I'm not gonna blind you guys, but yeah, you push the button and then the light goes brighter. InMotion, being awesome as they are for headlights, they keep their stuff pointed down to keep you from blinding literally everybody else in your path. I'm gonna turn that off. Let's see. We've got spike pedals as the new standard of EUCs.
Yeah, these ones are pretty similar to the V13. They're supposed to be a little bit longer, a little bit denser from what I've heard.
Yeah. So I'm about like 5'10", with a maybe a 30, what was it? Yeah, 32, 33 inch inseam. Standing on this wheel, it's not bad. The current day electric unicycles are now tall and chunky, but the inside can easily be remedied. When you add pads, it's going to space out the lower portion of the wheel and you're going to feel more flush along your leg.
Definitely.
Billy, how tall are you?
6'4".
Okay.
You're
he's
just a little bit
6'4".
taller than me, it seems
Yeah,
like, once you're on. So,
Yeah, he's tall. So then
yeah.
with him, he's going to have his legs way more flush against the wheel, and he's not going to have as many potential knee problems.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, the curvature, at least for my eye, feels pretty good, actually, to be honest with you. And I feel like I can kind of grip this, kind of like bit of foam here they have on the top, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah, so the top portion of the wheel does have foam. I'll take that. Yeah, so we've got our foam, and they pre-applied the
Yeah, so it's just a little fairing that goes on the side. It looks like most customers are going to get this to where it's actually just in the box, not applied to it. And it's just going to be a little bit adhesive that kind of holds it to the side of the battery packs. You also will get some Velcro that comes with the power pads that are included with the wheel. That's just in a separate box. We'll show you those in just a moment. But those also come with some Velcro you can just attach straight to the battery boxes, just in case you don't want the fairings to kind of push yourself out a bit. But like Law was saying earlier, I think with having the pads and having the fairings on, it kind of makes you a little bit more flush with the wheel. So definitely would recommend it.
Yeah. So as far as our front handle and our rear handle, these are both like a higher density plastic. So you're not sacrificing the amount of weight that you would get for a metal handle, but at the same time, it's still sturdy enough to do the job. Our tire that we have on it, it's a knobby crosshatch pattern. So unlike some tires that you end up seeing that unicycles come with. Having the crosshatch pattern, it's going to make it more consistent on turns, whereas a regular straight knobby, when you're going straight, you feel locked in. Then when you get to like 5 degrees, it's questionable. Then 15 degrees, you're good again. And then you get incrementally, it's on and off.
Yeah, because you're kind of not just like falling into it essentially, since they're kind of like crisscross almost.
Right. Yeah. So you're always going to have some sort of knob underneath you. While knobs are not always recommended for street riding, depends on who you are. Some people are just comfortable with it. It's going to hide your flaws in riding when you're at a higher speed, but it depends on the situation, what kind of riding you're into. We definitely still recommend knobby tires being for mostly dirt paths or whatever. What else is there to talk about this wheel? Any questions, any comments so far, Elton? No? We'll get there eventually. What else is there to
Probably
know
start
here?
applying just the power pads onto the unit, honestly.
Okay, sure. Yeah, power pads. What's cool about these?
That's how much?
How much?
How much? It depends on the unit you buy. I believe it's just 3 grand flat for the 50 GB, and I think it's 3,300 currently for the 50S. Just because the 50S is kind of more desirable, just due to getting a little bit more output out of the wheel, essentially due to those higher discharge batteries.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's get these pads on. They're kind of similar to the Grizzla design, where it's 2 pieces in front. Is it 2 pieces in back or single piece in back?
Single piece in back.
Oh, single piece in back, so the more original forms of Grizzla. So what we're going to do is, like most pads, you want to apply the instep first, tuck it in a little bit, and then set that inside. Also after you put your foot. For people who don't know where to put their foot and just want somewhere, some guidance, take the ball of your foot and your heel, and then put those equidistant or same distance from the center of the pedal hanger, or pretty much center distance of the wheel. In doing so, that allows you to get even pressure between those 2 points, and then your leg would end up making contact in center. So from there, it's going to be dependent on where or how far you want to have your legs going for accelerating or decelerating. So that's what's going to affect both your front and rear pad. So our rear pad, it's on the shorter side. So some people like to have it up high. Personally, I like to have it closer to where my heel is going to be, because when I lift the wheel, I want to be able to pick up the wheel both on the front and the back. So I'm just going to set that right here. Just kidding. I'll just be a little bit offset. That'll be fine.
How's the Velcro seem? Does it seem like it holds the pads in pretty well, like
Yeah,
quality?
the Velcro that came with these pads is pretty decent in relation to other wheels in the past that we've seen. So for a little while, people have been trying to figure out how Velcro works with these factories, but yeah, now they're getting somewhere, and there's some sort of constant that's getting set. So again, I'm just gonna set down the lower instep, and then adjust as I'm going back in. Okay. Instep, and then I'm gonna set this one a little bit more down. Let's reset that again. Let's put off. Well, I guess that's not a bad thing. So if you wanted to have your pad separate, then you could do that also, where you just set your instep first, and then after setting instep, you can reconnect into the joint and then pull it at whatever angle you want. I'm just going to throw it way forward just because that's how I like to ride. Rather than just putting pressure on the wheel, a lot of times when I ride, I like to get enough room on the pads to be able to just kind of squat and get my hips forward. Because if your hips are forward, all your body weight is on the front side of the wheel, allowing you to get faster acceleration. Let's see. I'm going to set that to the back side. And now we have pads placed. If I angle this a little bit more forward, that will allow for this one to go a little bit lower. Any questions? Okay. All right, so this
Someone
wheel.
just asked, what is the estimated range if set on long battery optimization?
Okay, so
I think that kind of just depends on the battery, to be honest, because there's obviously the two versions, like we were saying before, the 50S and the 50GB. With the 50S, you are going to be drawing a few more amps, essentially, approximately like 10 to 15 more amps while you're riding. I mean, obviously that will depend on how you ride. Like, do you ride hard? Do you ride pretty soft? Like, it kind of just depends on like how much you're pushing the unit. From what I've seen from real world testing so far, it seems to be about like 70 miles or so. If you're going about like 20 miles per hour, if you go anything higher, obviously that's gonna drop quite a bit just because you're using more power from the unit.
yeah, definitely there's a whole bunch of different variables that go within that. I mean, if you don't mind me asking, how heavy are you as a rider, for whoever that asked that question? Because like say for
13 to 50 miles an hour, but
13 to 15.
180 pounds.
180 pounds?
180 pounds? Okay. Yeah, so I weigh about 200 pounds. And chances are, if I were to ride this, I'd probably get about maybe 50-ish, 60 miles if I was riding at maybe 18 miles an hour. So with the lighter weight, you're definitely going to get a little bit more out of it. You're probably leaning more towards the 60. But yeah, in the end, it's really what kind of riding style you're doing and how consistent you are, plus the terrain that you're dealing with.
Yeah. Like what kind of weather, what kind of inclines we're talking about, all that's going to contribute quite a bit. Especially if there's like high winds or anything as well, of course, because you're going to have to fight that resistance. So. All right, should we just take this out and try it out then real quick?
Yeah, we could definitely take it outside. Yeah, really, I guess one thing to note, while we're inside here, I'm just jumping up and down, trying to get it to bottom out. And I haven't gotten it to bottom out yet. So we'll see what we can do outside.
Perfect.
What's the weight of this unit?
The weight of this unit is approximately 88 pounds.
88.
Give me a helmet.
Yeah.
Cool.
This one should
You
fit.
want to ride after?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Grab your wheel.
Let me grab one real quick.
Okay, we'll get this helmet on, and then we will also get somebody else to throw on a helmet, and then they can follow us. We got Billy on the,
You got the V11Y.
We're gonna do a video V11Y.
about that soon.
yeah, we'll record that also. Let's see what we got.
Be pretty hard, be ready.
Yeah.
That spring.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for this spring. I mean, Leap Kim also has been working with this company to make springs. Definitely shown to have progress. Yeah, this wheel's super nimble. As far as weight distribution, you're gonna feel a little bit more top heavy considering how tall this thing is. But again, overall, that's not really an issue for most riders. Some riders do like having the lower, more stable ride set, but once you create your ride feel and you get used to the whole having your weight up high, it's not an issue at all for when you're riding. As far as torque goes, there's a decent amount of torque. Trying to power this there and I'm not getting anything out of it. Which battery pack did you say this was, Billy?
50 GB.
This is the 50 GB. Okay. Yeah, no, it's decent for sure.
Yeah, so
Right.
really decent amount of power in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm perfectly happy with this. Plus, the smaller diameter tire is also going to make a world of difference for. The smaller diameter tire is going to make a world of difference for the acceleration. It's going to be much harder to overpower. Let's see. Yeah, Yeah, there's definitely enough power to jump over a curb. Hoping spot, I guess. Let's try that again. Yeah, no, it's a decent wheel for sure. For anybody that's looking for a middle range wheel, you can't really go wrong with this. You want to play with it, Billy?
Yeah, perfect. Sounds good. We'll just swap units real quick. Sorry to put you on the V11Y, but you want to take the camera real quick, or am I just going to record while I'm riding? Sounds good. Yeah, I'm definitely not as good of a rider as Law. I've been riding for a couple years now, but definitely don't have the same type of experience. This tire's actually pretty nice. I figured it would feel a little odd. I'm used to street tires. I don't really ride with knobby tires, to be honest, but I don't feel like I'm gonna slip off or anything. It's definitely not like the goad ones that you kind of just fall into each knob like Law was saying earlier. And I can definitely feel like I can jump this pretty nicely, which is nice. And it's got a decent amount of torque. I don't really feel like I'm gonna overpower it whatsoever, which is really nice. So I can just take off. Yeah, no, definitely a decent feeling wheel, honestly. I could definitely see myself picking this as like my next unit. Really, really like that suspension. It's just super smooth. I used to ride the S22 for approximately 7 months or so. I commute on most of the time, and the S22, in my opinion, definitely doesn't feel as good as this does. I always felt like the S22, like with the slider system, it kind of caught a little too much. Like it never felt like perfectly smooth, but this one, I don't feel like any resistance or anything. It feels honestly super nice. I feel like I can carve on it pretty well too, actually. Yeah, just overall really nice unit. Definitely like the feel of it. I don't feel like I'm gonna fall off of it or anything. Like just trying it out, like it just kind of feels natural to ride, honestly, even with that knobby tire like I was saying before, because I'm used to like the street CSTs, Michelin slightly on some of my units, but yeah, definitely haven't really ridden anything like this before.
When you're saying our connection is getting lost, is it all right now?
Yeah, no, definitely great. I actually really like the pad setup. I was curious how that was going to feel, honestly, with these shoes, but looks like we got some similar shoes going on today, both Vans, so yeah, working out pretty good. I'm actually going to try adjusting the compression a little bit. It looks like it's on the hardest setting all the way, so that kind of makes sense why you weren't able to bottom it out that easily, but you can see how it definitely kind of softens up there quite a bit. I'm pretty sure from what I've seen online that this has 11 clicks of compression, but I heard they were maybe changing that, so that might be incorrect, so we'll have to check that out in like an in-depth review video, just kind of inspect that to see how it is. But yeah, overall just super decent feeling. Like I feel pretty confident no matter how much I throw at this, like, weight wise. I don't feel like I'm gonna overpower it whatsoever. Yeah, we'll just bring it back inside and we'll kind of just talk about like our conclusions overall, like how we feel about the wheel. No turn signals, which isn't really an issue. That was more just like a King Song thing that's been done, but super nice brake light, if you can see it right there, but definitely really nice. Like that diffuser on there so you don't like see all the individual LEDs. Just overall pretty good unit. From what I've heard, this is supposed to have a max charge of 16 amps, even though it comes with that 3 amp charger, of course. From what I've heard, they're going to have a fast charger they're going to release for it as well, so that should be super nice. It's supposed to charge, I guess, with that fast charger at 16 amps in approximately 2 hours, but we'll have to do a test of that at some point to kind of confirm that for you guys. But yeah, I feel pretty snug with these pads. They feel pretty good. Definitely some of the best stock pads I've ever tried before. I actually really do like these These pedals, it's pretty nice. Obviously, not having the grip tape, so you don't have to worry about like what weather conditions you're in.
Yeah.
But yeah.
For an honest review, I don't think it's a bad wheel at all. For the pedals, I do wish there were a little bit more spikes. Ever since EUCs have gone to the honeycomb shape and completely dropped the idea of using any form of grip tape, I definitely miss having either more spikes or grip tape. I think to any company that is deciding to watch this, it's still better to have both spikes and grip tape rather than just one or the other. Yeah, I mean, personally, if I were to own this, the things that I would end up doing for a little DIY mod is literally just maybe shaping it with a single piece of foam just to space your feet out, or just at least give your feet a place to kind of hang out. Yeah, I mean, there's not really too much more there is to talk about this wheel right now. Size comparison? Yeah, we can put it right next to the V13 that's right here.
V13, yeah.
Yeah, so V13 is V13 is still going to be a tank in relation to the V14. For anybody who's not able to whip around such a large wheel, we definitely recommend the V14 to be that more fun, quick, nimble machine in relation.
Yeah. And if you want to try to do a little bit more off-road and want something like Law said that you can kind of just throw around, the V14 is definitely a good choice. Because, I mean, you're only getting about 600 more watt hours of battery with the V13. So, in all reality, the biggest thing you're missing out on is that, like, top speed. Because from what I've seen so far, the V13 is supposed to top out around, like, 52 miles per hour. So, you're looking at about, like, a 9 mile per hour increase. At least from what I've seen so far. So... yeah, no, definitely a nice wheel. Like, I really like the V13. It's definitely kind of fun to ride on the street, but at least for my size and my weight, I have a hard time throwing it around like I can with the V14. Like, I feel like I can have a lot more fun off-road or even just on street in general, just for like doing random jumps or just kind of like riding in general, you know, just kind of cruising.
Yeah, definitely. Once again, I can't keep repeating this. If you want this wheel, buy it because it's nimble, and you'll definitely benefit from it. If you're looking for a, not necessarily middle range, but I guess middle range to closer to high range wheel. Yeah, if anybody has any comments before we close this up, speak now. Is there anybody talking in chat still?
Just it says it's blurry a little bit off and on. It's just a comment from Wen.
Okay, for sure.
Gotcha.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to post this later and not have that same issue. Yeah, I mean, it's another electric unicycle. If it makes you happy, buy it. And yeah, I guess we'll close up now. This is La Laxina, and we've got
William from
How
EUCO.
many Hall sensors?
How many Hall?
how many Hall sensors?
I believe it's just the one Hall sensor, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to double check on that. I haven't really seen anything indicating on spec sheets how many Hall sensors are included, because I know, of course, the V13 has a 2. So I'm just gonna say that it has 1, but we can always double check just in case.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. Any other questions?
The V14S different.
Yeah, the V1450S is just going to be like the high discharge batteries. So essentially you're going to be able to push a few more amps out, which means you can have more continuous power at once, which means you can have a faster acceleration, faster deceleration, and theoretically you can kind of keep your top speed for a little bit longer without having to worry about battery sag or voltage sag per se. Also, yeah, so just like Steven said, there's technically faster charging that's available as well. It can like withstand a little bit more heat. It also can withstand a little bit more of the cold weather as well. So it's pretty good, but I would say for most climates, you're not really gonna have to worry about like handling the cold or the heat any more than you are gonna have to with the 50 GB. There should be a small difference with that, to be honest with you. And I mean, once you get to that really hot temperature of like, let's say 105 degrees or so, I mean, it's going to be pretty harsh to ride out in anyways, so.
Yeah. He also just said why it's such a big motor but low speed.
Oh, you're talking about just the motor wattage?
Yeah, so pretty much having the lower speed sometimes when you're designing a wheel, it ends up being a trade-off between having high speed or high torque. Newer wheels with the larger batteries end up getting away with being able to get high speeds just because they have enough battery to be able to justify would justify not being questionable. Say like with the, I don't know if you're that long into the scene, but older iterations of unicycles, say like the Bigode RS, or between those two, so there's the RS high torque and the high speed. So same battery, just different windings for the motor. Having the higher speed, you're able to push harder, but at the same time, having the extra bit of torque, on the high torque version, you're able to get up a hill without stressing the motor nearly as much as it would be if you were using the high speed version. It's mostly just the way the motor's wound and what the batteries are able to throw at you without putting you in danger.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. Do we have any other questions or?
Oh, Dan says thanks, guys.
Okay, perfect. Well,
Thank you. We love you. Thank you for being yourself. We're gonna close this up now. Once again, we got William from EUCO and me. I'm Law. If you miss us, then message us wherever. Buy unicycles. Spend money. I love you. We'll catch you later.